Hello and welcome to the No Format Required Festive movie reviews. Sorry it's been a while since I posted one. I have actually got a load of films lined up ready for these, so you're probably going to get quite a lot in one go. Just bear with me 1 second. So I'm actually in my car on my way to work recording this because I feel like this episode is going to be a doozy. Today I didn't watch it today, I watched it last night on my night shift during my breaks. A film called Santa with Muscles. It's a 90s film, I want to say 95. Obviously, I'm in my car, so I haven't got any notes with me. Around about like mid-90s era. Might be a bit later actually, because it stars Hulk Hogan, basically, as a gym fanatic. I'm going to talk you through the whole movie because, honestly, I thought I had a fever dream because I was at the house of my friends and Charlie. I texted him as well about this afterwards. I was like, just watch this film. It's on Amazon for those who want to watch it. But yeah, I just watched this film. And honestly, the plot is the most insane thing I've ever seen or watched in my life. So it stars this guy, I can't remember what his name is, Blake, I believe. It's quite forgettable, this film at points. So it stars this guy called Blake, and he's like, you sort of see him at the beginning, he's like sneaking into this compound, taking out like gardeners with, what are they called, not lawnmowers, but edging thingbobbies, I can't think what they're called. I've had a complete and utter mind blank. But yeah, he's taking them out. Chefs are coming like with whisks in their hand to attack him when he's taking them out. And then it transpires that it's like a exercise routine, and he lives there. And just part of his exerciseness is taking out all of these various people in his employment, because they all obviously work for him in his big mansion. But yeah, he's obviously got quite a big ego. He's always got these, spouting out these random rules to his team, saying, hold on, what number are we on now? Let's go rule 365. Always be prepared, or something like that. Which I don't know if I'm right in thinking that it is rule 365. That is always be prepared. Why on earth has it got to rules 365 before we'd actually come across that one? But yeah, so he's doing that, and then he is told about like a fundraiser event. He's got no interest in it, and instead basically goes paintballing. So he gathers up all of his employers and he goes paintballing, and then I'm not sure how it happened, but the paintball goes out into the streets, and he finds it funny to paintball a police car, which then starts a big police chase. I say a big police chase, it's quite small. Relatively, he's in a lot of rubbish films. I think he's in a lot of films. I think he's just one of those actors that is everywhere. But the cop in the police car is Clint Howard, who is Ron Howard's brother. I was going to say that's probably the biggest name in it, but I'm wrong in saying that. So police chase ensues, and they end up in a mall in America. And this mall, Santa hasn't arrived. So the person in charge of the mall tells the elves, first one to get me a Santa gets $50. Meanwhile, did I say that it's Hulk Hogan? I don't think I did. Hulk Hogan is Blake. Okay, so that gives you the level of acting we're getting there. So Hulk Hogan's character, Blake, puts on a Santa outfit to hide from the police, and goes down a laundry chute, loses his balance, falls down it, and in a classic 90s trope style, gets selective amnesia, in which he can't remember who he is, but he thinks he's Santa, but not enough to be actually Santa. Like, I think some kids think he's actually Santa, and there's some comments that he's like, but maybe I do need to go to the North Pole, how am I going to deliver the presents in the morning? But he doesn't also think he's Santa, because he knows he's not. It's weird. But yeah, so he then gets amnesia, thinks he's Santa, and one of the elves begins with B, I can't think, Benny, I think. No, Lenny, that's it, Lenny. He brings this Santa to be the Santa for the mall, gets the £50 $50, but also steals his wallet and recognizes him as Blake, and he's like, and then he gets a scene where he's still like trying to steal Blake's money. And what's even weirder about it is the technology in this film set in the 90s is so bizarre, because he can't steal the money because he needs the fingerprint of Hulk Hogan's character, Blake. So, like, what ATM even now requires you to have a fingerprint? So I don't know where they thought the technology was. Oh, and this bank talks to you as well. But yeah, anyway, so that's by the by. This Lenny character as well, the elf, he steals the money from Hulk Hogan, but also seems to be a good guy and friends with Hulk. It's really weird. So yeah, then you get the next scene in which you find out this orphanage is trying to be taken over by a guy called Ebner Frost, played by Ed Begley Jr., who's in plays Stanley Stipmore in Arrested Development, if you've ever seen that. He's an evil scientist, and he's got evil goons included, an evil perfumist and an evil like, it's really weird, like over the top ridiculousness. I'm really struggling, like, trying to explain this film because it's just so batshit crazy. Honestly, it's just awful. So yeah, they're trying to take over this orphanage and destroy it because there's some magical crystals that are underneath it that he wants to get his hands on. We get a scene later on in which these magical crystals, I'm still not really sure what they are, but they're explained by a random kid at the orphanage. She goes, I recognise these from my school project. And then she spouts on something about like energy with them. They're highly explosive. A kid literally drops it from waist height and it explodes in front of him. So yeah, remember that, highly explosive crystals. Anyway, so he's trying to destroy this orphanage. Meanwhile, back at the mall, two teenagers, should I say, is trying to steal some toys that are going to the orphanage, and Hulk Hogan beats him up, which gains media attention. He's then the Santa with muscles, isn't he? And he goes to the orphanage for some reason. I can't remember exactly why. He says, oh, let's go to the orphanage. And they go to the orphanage. And he, for some reason, stays there, unsure why, as does the elf. Really, I think he stays there because he doesn't know where his home is, but the elf has a home. Like, I'm not sure why Lenny stayed there. And then various things happen. I think, like, various things basically that cause the bad guys to sort of realise that Santa with Muscles is there, but they still want to take over the place. And then he gets his memory back. Nothing really happens in an hour and a half, but a lot happens because somehow all of this is not explained either. Any of this, like how the evil scientist knows that the crystals are underneath, or why he wants them. They might have been explained saying that, but I might have zoned out because it was a hard watch, a very hard watch. One of the characters in the orphanage, one of the little girls, is played by Mila Kunis, which is quite interesting. It was apparently one of her first ever film roles. Yes, so that happens. Where was I? He gets his memory back because he falls into a garbage truck during a fight with someone on top of the orphanage. Gets his memory back, but then when he calls up the orphanage, someone's pretending to be the people at the orphanage, telling him not to come back, they don't need him there anymore. But eventually he goes back. Like, being Santa has made him nice now. He's no longer this dick to his employees or anything. He's just a nice person. He goes back, and then underneath the orphanage where the crystals are, he has a random, well, he doesn't have a random fight, he has a sword fight with Ebner Frost, the evil scientist. But what's even odder about that is they're using the crystals to have the sword fight. If you remember, those highly explosive crystals, the ones that exploded when just dropped from a mild height, but yet they're having a sword fight with them. Yeah, it makes no sense. And then, so yeah, they have the sword fight, and then the bad guy loses the fight, but I don't think he does lose the fight. I just think he's just losing. And then, but the crystals then start to like vibrate as if they're going to explode, and they do explode, and the orphanage is destroyed. But luckily, Hulk Hogan's character has a massive mansion that all the orphans can stay at. Oh, and then there was also the random bit where it transpired that Hulk Hogan's Blake and Ebner Frost were actually best friends back in the orphanage, but they couldn't remember that. And that is Santa with muscles. Honestly, just a fever dream. And then you start to read behind the scenes about it. Like, well, there's only one behind the scenes thing that I read about it, and that's that it was produced by Jordan Belfort, who is the character that Leonardo DiCaprio is playing in Wolf of Wall Street. So the real Jordan Belfort produced this film. It's just odd, very, very weird family comedy, if you can call it that. Honestly, Hulk Hogan, he cannot act. He is atrocious in this movie. Well, the thing is, he can act, because wrestling at the end of the day is acting. And there's been a lot of successful acting careers from wrestlers, but dear God, he is just awful in it. So yeah, Santa with muscles. I will be giving this film a very, very generous 3 out of 10. Don't watch it, but it's on Amazon Prime if you want to watch it. Right, I'll be releasing probably another few episodes today. We've got quite a few that I've watched. I think I've got 3 that I need to record, and then also watch a few more movies. Right, I'll see you guys when the next episode comes out. Take care. Bye.